Um, it's official. It's the 2021 school year. And so welcome to the MLK sixth grade virtual open house presented by myself. I am Mr. Reynolds. I teach sixth grade. And Miss DeYoung, she's also a sixth grade teacher here at MLK. And so first of all, we want to start off with a welcome and say welcome again to the 2021 school year. First, let me start by expressing as educators how grateful we are that the circumstances have not inhibited or overawed the chance for students to gain a quality education and to develop the knowledge and skills needed to face daily life. So we are so very honored to be walking side by side with our students to support and guide them through this unprecedented school year. And we're equally pleased and eager to be full partners with parents and guardians, and we need full partners with parents and guardians to ensure that each student has a first-rate digital learning experience and positive personal development through this experience as well. So I'm going to go into teacher introductions, and I'll go ahead and get us started. Again, my name is Mr. Reynolds. I've been with Grand Rapids Public School District for 3.5 years now. The first year I taught 4th grade, and then subsequent years after that I've been in middle school teaching 6th graders. I graduated from Grand Valley State University, and I have a graduate in curriculum and assessment. My philosophy on education is that all students can achieve their academic goals in education with hard work, diligence, effort, working with the teachers. It's possible that students can really achieve high academic success in education. I'm a true believer in that, and I do whatever I can to support my students with those endeavors. So big believer in education and academia. I have a son who just graduated from high school this year. He's going to be a freshman at Grand Valley State University this fall, so I'm really excited about that. He's worked his butt off. He's done a really good job, and he's seen the rewards for that. So that's it for me. Ms. DeYoung.
Well, hi, my name is Ms. DeYoung, and it is my first year at GRPS, but my 17th year, I'm going on my 17th year teaching. I've taught in the Lansing area most of my career, and then I recently just came back from the UP teaching middle school. I've taught all grade levels from pre-K to 8th grade. And then I've also done some work on the side for Lansing Community College, teaching Google platforms to middle school and high school students. So I'm super excited to meet you and your children and to teach them this year and to be working with Mr. Reynolds. I am a strong believer too in success, and I believe every child can grow and be successful in their own way. And I can't wait to help them and encourage them to be lifelong learners like I am. I graduated from Western Michigan University, and then I received my master's at Spring Arbor University in curriculum and instruction. And I have 2 daughters, and let me think, one is getting married this year. Hopefully COVID has kind of set back the plans on that. And then my other daughter is just living life. They both live in Kalamazoo, and they both work specifically with children with autism, so especially in that as well. Other than that, I can't wait to meet you all and start the new school year.
Excellent. Same here. Very much looking forward to meeting you guys soon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the agenda that we have for our meeting today, and talk about some of the things that we hope to cover in this meeting. So looking at the agenda, some of the things that we're going to talk about, we want to provide an overview to you for what the district plan is for a virtual learning environment. Just a synopsis. It's probably information that you've seen already that is posted and published on the GRPS website, but we want to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we understand what that information is. We also want to take a look and talk to you about the middle school 6th grade curriculum for ELA and math. We want to introduce the team teaching model to our middle school. Now, this may be new for some of our students this year, for some of our 6th graders. So again, just want to explain to you what that is so that students are prepared. We're also going to look at the characteristics for a successful online learner. Online learning is a little bit different from the traditional learning that we're used to being in the classroom. So we want to make sure our students are prepared and that they have some way of navigating the online learning environment. We also want to talk about student expectations. It's so important that we're all on the same page so that everyone can be successful. We also want to talk about that homeschool partnership and what that's going to look like and how parents and teachers can work together to support the students. And then we'll just wrap it up with a question and answer session if anyone has any questions about anything that we just talked about. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so this is the overview of the district's virtual learning plan. And what will be new to the students this year is Google Classroom. Middle school will be exclusively using the Google Classroom platform. This platform will show you announcements. It will keep in communication, constant communication with you daily. It will show you the assignments for class and whether or not your student turned it in. And it will also provide you tech help for everyone who is new to this, and almost all of the students will not be familiar with Google Classroom, so we will go into depth with them as well. And as always, we are always willing to work with parents and show them also how to use Google Classroom. And you will also be able to get emails from us as well and notifications when we do add something if you choose. The district's virtual class schedule is new this year, and what we want you to be aware of is there will be synchronous and asynchronous time in this virtual class schedule. The school year will work just like it always has, except doing it virtually. So on Mondays, it will be more of an asynchronous time. An asynchronous time means that the students will work individually on their assignments. They'll go into Google Classroom, look at what's coming up for the upcoming week. Maybe they have homework that they need to work on as well, or they might have to prepare for an upcoming class that they will be attending during the week. And I said that I just want to make sure that everyone is well aware that the attendance and the completion of work and doing their best on the assignments is mandatory this year. For GRPS, we will be grading everything. And on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we will have synchronous time in the mornings from 9 to 12. That means that Mr. Reynolds or I will be seeing your children. We'll both be seeing them at one point, depending on the time, and that schedule will also be given to you in Google Classroom. But synchronous is when we are teaching the whole class at the same time. So it'll be a regular classroom environment, except it will all be on the computer. And then in the afternoon, we will have asynchronous time. During that time, the students will have art, choir, whatever specials they may have. And they will also meet with us in breakout groups, so we can provide a little extra instruction to students during that time. And we will give that agenda to the students each week to tell them what they will be doing that week. And the asynchronous time when they're working by themselves will be from 12 to 3 in the afternoon. And then Friday will also be asynchronous time where they'll work on assessments or homework.
Okay. And so whether they're working synchronous or asynchronous, whether they're working in small groups, independently, one-on-one with teachers. Most of the assignments and activities that they're going to engage in will come from the Grand Rapids Public School curriculum. And so over here where it says GRPS, and it gives you the website www.grps.org/learn is the link or the website to access the entire curriculum and all of the programs for a sixth grade middle school. And all of the programs that we use, they have robust online capabilities, and they are very adaptable. So if you take My Perspectives, for example, which is our ELA program, which consists of all sixth grade content, and we have a student that's maybe not at the sixth grade content level, and they're progressing towards that. There are some things we could do with that program, with that curriculum, to adapt it and help the student with whatever level they're at. And the same thing with the Go Math program. With the Go Math program, it does have some capability for us to be flexible and allow us to support students at different levels. The same thing with the science program, the Discovery Ed program, and similarly with the social studies program with the TCI. So all of those programs are adaptable and allow for some flexibility. However, especially if students are coming in under grade level or more underperforming, I should say, the goal is to help the student make that academic leap, with their knowledge and skills. So which is why we built in time weekly one-on-one instruction to support those students who might need a little bit of extra help. So that is built into our schedule, which is why Mr. Young is talking about that asynchronous time. It is really important that students adhere to asynchronous instruction if they are scheduled for asynchronous instruction, which is again going to be small group, some one-on-one mentoring and tutoring. That will be highly important. So, but this is the sixth grade middle school curriculum. You have My Perspectives, you have Go Math, you have the science, and then you have the social studies program. And again, the students can access all of these programs just by going to the grps.org/learn website. That link will be posted in the Google Classroom. So it should be fairly easy for students to be able to access and get to. But those are our sixth grade programs that we're going to use to teach this year. That's it. Okay, see ya.
Okay. And as we are teaching those programs, we will be team teaching and using the team teaching model. Simply what that means is that Mr. Reynolds and I will be teaching all sixth grade students depending on the subject, and we'll be working very closely together so we're both on the same page, and our classroom management and our expectations of students and what we need them to be doing will be the same. So they'll have different teachers, but the same expectations. And so Mr. Reynolds and I will be teaching different subjects. Like I said, Mr. Reynolds will be teaching ELA and science to your students, and I will be teaching math and social studies to your students. There will be set aside times where your students will either be with Mr. Reynolds or myself, and we will give you that schedule. The benefit of this type of teaching is that we will be content experts on the subjects that we are teaching. The students will get the most out of our teaching and will benefit greatly from that. And it will also help them focus in on what they need to be learning, and they will become experts in each subject as well. And they'll also get to they'll be able to switch teachers and have that little bit of a break from teacher to teacher. So in the middle school model, that seems to work better with the older students, because sitting in a classroom all the time or staying with one teacher, they like that variety.
Yeah, very much so. All right. So even though this is online, Mr. Young and I are still trying to mimic a, um, a the regular middle school learning experience. Um, I'm sure we've all heard the saying that timing is everything, and that is certainly the case for this upcoming sixth grade class. Um, because it's kind of like a double whammy. Not only do they have to figure out how to navigate the demands of middle schools, and Mr. Young and I, we have really high expectations and some high academic demands, so they're going to have to figure out how to navigate that, but they're also going to have to learn how to navigate and meet the demands of online learning. So I want to talk about some of the characteristics for online learners, or at least the characteristics for successful online learners. Digital learning for our middle schoolers, even for Grand Rapids Public and for a lot of districts across the country, digital learning is not only new for many of us, but it can also be uncomfortable and difficult. Being an online student, and we acknowledge this, is a unique experience compared to the traditional classroom. And the new users for online learning will often require time to adapt and transform their traditional way of learning in order to achieve academic success in a virtual environment. We recognize that. And so in order to support students with that, we've developed and we've come up with some of the characteristics that students will want to embody so that they can be successful in the virtual environment. And really what it comes down to is with a positive mindset and a willingness to adapt learning behaviors, the virtual learning is not only doable, but it has many advantages over the traditional classroom. So in fact, online learning offers a ton more opportunities for us to personalize the learning, which we just talked about with the curriculum. A lot of opportunities for anytime resources, to access language support, and to be a self-directed learner and have some self-directed study time. And there's a lot more benefits to online learning. This situation is an opportunity for us. And so that students can take advantage of that opportunity, here are some key characteristics that students will want to develop, or at a minimum hone, to help themselves become strong digital learners and successfully acclimate to an online classroom. So some of the things, some of those characteristics that students will, again, need to develop or hone includes just being an earnest participant. Mr. Young talked about attendance earlier. It is critical that our students are participating earnestly, that they're showing up, that they are engaged, that they're asking questions. There's no better way to take ownership of your education than to ask questions. So one of the key characteristics is that they are participating and that they're serious about their participation. Another characteristic is a commitment to the learning time. Mr. Young laid out the schedule. This is the schedule. We are hoping that with your support and that with students' due diligence, that they are following a learning schedule. They're committed to time, that they've set aside time for learning. And again, the next part is just asking questions and looking for help, which I've already talked about. That's a characteristic of what a successful online student does. They seek out information and they seek out help. Another characteristic is that online students will track their progress. They'll track their own performance, and they won't just leave it up to the teacher. They won't just leave it up to the parent. They will know how they are performing. And I tell my students all the time that your learning, your education should not be a surprise to you. You should know what you know and what you don't know, and take the steps to improve it if you need to do that. But make sure, have a system in place where you're tracking how you are doing. And later, parents, we're going to show you how you can help your students do that as well. Another thing that successful online learners do is that they work collaboratively. none of us, and this is something that we're proud about, none of us will need to work in isolation. There will be a lot of opportunities for students to work collaboratively, to work with their peers, to work with teachers one-on-one, to get that help that they need, to share ideas. So there will be a lot of opportunities for you to work collaboratively and be able to bounce ideas off each other and support one another. So that's another characteristic. The last characteristic, which I think is one of the most important, is that you are self-directed. You become self-directed as a learner. Unfortunately, at least for the next 9 weeks, I won't be there to hold you accountable and to push you and to tell you where you have this, where to put this and where to do. This is going to be your opportunity to, again, make that academic leap, to make that leap via maturation, and to just be self-directed and help yourself as much as possible. The entire MLK Middle School has designed the STRONG program to help students just become successful students, whether you're in the classroom or online. And when come Tuesday, Wednesday, when you're in class, we're going to talk more in detail about how students can be successful in the class and definitely online. And you can access this information on our website as well for parents, and you can see what that looks like. That's it for me.
Okay. So student expectations, what we are expecting from the students. An expectation is an anticipated behavior, attitude, or outcome. It's a belief of what will and should happen based on established protocols, rules, trials, and procedures. It actually happens. So we are expecting a lot from these students, probably more than what they have received in elementary school in the past, because now they are middle schoolers and we are following the middle school model. As far as the teachers go, classroom expectations provide both us and the students an opportunity to evaluate an end result and readiness for what is about to come. And it helps keep them focused a little more too. When students know what is expected of them, they are more likely to self-monitor and take ownership and responsibility of their end result and their level of readiness. And Mr. Reynolds was talking about this on the last slide. Your students should know what they know and what they don't know. And part of the student expectations will also allow them to know when to ask for help and when they need something. And when a student meets or exceeds expectations, they feel good about themselves. It builds self-confidence and a positive outlook on learning. And that's really what our goal is. We want them to feel successful, know they are successful, and have a positive outlook on learning and love learning like we do. It is important that these students do attend. Like Mr. Reynolds said, every day we will be taking attendance and we will be tracking that, and we may be calling if we have to, but it'll happen. And then the students also always need to give their best effort. One thing I know in my own classroom is I can't, just isn't, we don't say that, because we can try. And then complete participation. We will be expecting students to participate, even virtually. We will ask everyone questions. We will have things where everyone will be participating, and we will also have breakout sessions where they will be participating in a small group and then come back together as a whole class.
Yeah. Nice. And so the ABCs of student expectations, attendance, best effort, and participation, or that's just the basics. Really, you should come to middle school with that foundation already solidified. So those are the basics. But here, what you're looking at is the full gamut of online learning expectations that we have in 6th grade, and similarly just throughout middle school. So here's just a peek of our expectations matrix. You can find this a complete downloadable version on our website, on our classroom websites in Google Classroom. So once students are able to sign in and access our classroom, they will be able to see this complete breakdown of what those expectations are. So just really quick to go over this, we have expectations for logging in. We have expectations for how to participate in a video conference. We have expectations for how to respond in the chat. And we have expectations for completing assignments online. So again, all of this is in a virtual environment. So you will want to familiarize yourself with this. You will want to know these expectations. Our call to action is that you know these expectations and you adhere to these expectations with joy and with earnestness. These expectations, they do follow our STRONG acronym, again, which we're going to go over with students in more detail. But these are the expectations that we will hold students to beyond the basic ABCs of expectations.
Okay. And I just want to reiterate what we've been talking about is we do want to build a home and school partnership. It's vital to everyone's success and understanding of how the classroom will work. And in our back to school letter, we said that we will be fully available to parents and guardians, meaning that we will do what's necessary to make sure that homeschool connection is established and doing well. So we'll work with you, we'll work with your students, we'll develop relationships to collaborate as partners. And when we collaborate as partners, it means that the parents, the students, the teachers, and the community as well will be all working as one. So actively working together to develop shared goals and plans that support the success of all students means these 4 things that are up in the image. One is an open calendar. Both Mr. Reynolds and I are available for parents at any time to discuss whatever you may need to help your child be successful. There will be a calendar in our Google Classroom. All you have to do is go in, see what time slots are available, schedule it with us, and we will be there at that time. We will also give you access to Student View, which is our grade book, so you can constantly see how your child is doing in class and what work they have completed, how well they've done on it, and what work it may be that they still need to work on. And then we will also be doing customizable Google Classroom progress reports, so you can see how your child is doing in class as well. So there's several different venues and areas that we will be using, and we will also have weekly videos, newsletters, and resources. For example, I know this is very important to some parents because as students get older and their child gets older in curriculum, and I know this happened for myself too, especially once they hit high school, a lot of the things your child is learning, you have not learned in a very long time. So one of those things that we will have available to you will be answer keys or lessons on how to do some of the work just to refresh. And there will be a parent and guardian section to help students at home as well. So we'll give you whatever you need so you feel successful too working at home with your child. We know this is a new process for everybody and we just want to make the transition as easy as we can.
And I know personally, I'm really excited about empowering parents to this extent. And looking forward to them being able to schedule a sit-down meeting when it's convenient for them without needing to get my permission, and just having that control in your hands, being able to access the students' grades, their progress in an instant, giving you that control, giving you that power, putting it right in your hands, and just checking out how they're doing online, and then being able to have access to the latest material on whatever the subject or online learning or whatever the case might be. So I'm really excited about that. And we're afforded this opportunity because we are digital. So again, this is an example of how digital learning and being online has its advantages. We talk about that for students. Now we're talking about that for parents and teachers as well. So hopefully this is an opportunity for us to embrace this. If some of us see it as a challenge, embrace the challenge of being a virtual learner, whether it be for 9 weeks or longer, and put our best foot forward with our education and our academics. So that will conclude our presentation for today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email us, give us a call. My email address is reynolds@students.grps.org. And Ms. DeYoung, your email address?
My email address is dyoungb@students.grps.org. And you are more than welcome to email me at any time.
So again, we look forward to seeing you live on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Please check your email, parents and students, for communication from myself and Ms. DeYoung with the welcome letter, with the invitation to have access to the Google Classroom tutorials on how to sign in so that you are prepared to meet with us on the Tuesday morning. We're so excited for the 2021 school year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.